3. Maybe it was this
Here's
one.
the draft.
Like, you can look at this draft, right? Like, so they have the... So Echo can, like...
Oh, no, it was this game. This is the game. This is the game that everything, I think, was thrown.
Well, even... Look at this, look at this draft, right? So, like, Echo pressures Poppy, right? And then Caitlyn, Janna can, like, sort of pressure Karma, Ezreal. Ezreal can never provide pressure into Caitlyn, right? Because he just has to build tier. And then Azir versus Ryze is just a farm lane into late game. And then Graves versus Kindred is a scaling matchup. So it's like, what lane do you actually provide pressure in Flash Wolves outside of team fighting? So, like, yeah, they won, like, early game because they got kind of lucky off the really nice Kindred ganks. But they went into kind of late game, and it's just, like, I don't know. I mean,
well, it was also hugely misplayed by CLG, as we're going to see, because this composition that CLG has will pressure, as you're saying, all 3 lanes, and it should be super easy for them to siege in this particular game.
Well, I don't like Caitlyn with the Zero, personally.
Well, yeah, we talked about that before, but...
Yeah, Caitlyn's job is to show up mid lane in a 1-3-1, put traps, and then just pressure the mid laner. But if you don't, like, Azir can't go into a side lane because he doesn't have TP, he can't pressure in a side lane, and then it's just not good. Like, you should never pick Caitlyn with Azir. It's just not good because you need a mid lane that can split, and it doesn't really serve like the strengths of Caitlyn. So I don't know.
It is interesting that in this draft, when given the choice between Echo and Ryze, CLG first picked Echo for lane pressure for Darshan.
That was good.
But they did the second round drafted Echo in the last game. They first picked Ryze and then took Echo in the second round.
I thought that was good.
It's interesting.
First picking Ryze was good, but this even first picking Echo was like not that bad. But I don't know. I think Ryze is just like, if you give somebody Ryze, it's like you might as well. Ryze is too dumb. He's just too dumb. He can flex and he's like super strong in any lane. So I don't know. I think giving Ryze, sorry, it was really bad.
You're saying about losing all 3 lanes in this game, but they actually have a pressure in the jungle because Kindred is stronger than Graves early game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I mean, you can level 2 gank with Graves, but I don't
the
know
only thing, but if
like what lane are you gonna level 2 gank.
But if your cheese doesn't work, you might end up losing a buff or something in the jungle.
True.
If Kindred just asks the laners nearby the buff that she wants to invade to just push the lane, and they succeed in that, then Grace will just lose a buff and might as well lose the game after that, because if he doesn't get the farm he needs to scale in the early game, he will fall so far behind.
Well, that's actually what happens in this game, is Kindred just goes off against Graves, to be honest.
I haven't seen that, but I can see it happen.
Goes off early.
Yeah, Kindred just gets like the ganks off, because Graves ganks, if you don't have gank setup, is like really bad, and there's no lane.
CC in the lane.
How can you actually gank with Azir? Like, you level 2 gank, you maximum burn a flash, or I think you will not burn anything, and you spot your position.
To be honest, you're right. Like, there's no gank setup for Graves. So I actually think you're right. You're like, CLG actually like fucked up the draft, and the fact that there's no lanes that Graves can gank, so they're just like stuck in team fighting.
Yeah, and also there's Janna. Bad with Graves.
Yeah, I don't think the Janna pick was very good, to be honest. I like the Kate pick, I like the Azir pick, I like the Echo pick, but I don't like the Janna pick.
How does Ezreal Karma deal with Caitlyn Janna? Because obviously Caitlyn has a big advantage in laning phase, but to me, Karma at least shields some of the Ezreal's weakness early and can like at least out-push the lane at points.
You can't out-shield Janna just because Janna shields.
I just mean in terms of like, she has like a pushing help at least with Mantra Q, right?
So the way you win this lane as Karma Ezreal is you have to win early on, level 1, 2, and 3, just like be able to get the poke in, and it's just depending on how good the Karma is. Like if they can fight early, get like some good poke in, and just win off that, and then start to get a push. Once Caitlyn starts pushing in the Ezreal constantly, Karma can't do anything because they're gonna have shields for any of the Karma poke, and they're gonna have tempo on them. So it's a very skill dependent matchup, but it's completely favored towards Caitlyn Janna just because they're probably gonna get the golems, they're probably just gonna push, and once you start pushing, there's no stopping Caitlyn from just constantly pushing against Ezreal. So you kind of need to like kind of cheese them in a way in order to win this matchup. So I don't like it. Kitty. Yeah, what's she doing?
Monty Cat.
She's like stretching and stuff. About to go out.
She gets excited when people go outside.
Oh, really?
She's not allowed outside.
Oh.
Where she is? She goes out a lot.
Oh.
Not right now.
Not at night, no.
Oh. I'm outside.
What's your prediction for tomorrow?
It's so
I know
hard to
you're a
say.
North American resident.
Yeah, I happen to be. I happen to like CLG and NA, but It's hard to say. I mean, I haven't really been supporting CLG fully throughout this whole tournament because like I've always been wishy-washy about how well they perform. Like their teamwork against other teams' teamwork.
Sure.
But I've been pleasantly surprised, and I'll give them. I'll give them not my blessing. Therefore, they should win. So I'll say 3-1 SKT, and hopefully CLG proves me wrong.
What about, have you been following close enough to have an opinion on who will win between CLG and SKT, Diamond?
Yeah, I've been watching some games, and from what I've seen, like, as I said, CLG kind of found their niche, not only in their like play on the map.
But is having a niche or a couple of niches enough to take down SKT reinvigorated?
Well, I think SKT are not in their best form right
Sure.
now. That's why I think CLG has a chance to win this thing. So I would give them like 30% maybe of succeeding. And
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
30%
it's
to
pretty
win a best of 5
But
against
the thing
SKT.
is, if you remember the year before, when Fnatic played SKT on the MSI before, and Fnatic were like, they only had the strategy. They had the pretty bad ADK, and then they had a good strategy, and they managed to play the full best of 5
games,
series
sure.
against them. And it was not because Fnatic were so good, but because like SKT were not in their best form. And right now it's the same. And I feel like CLG also have a great players all around, except the mid lane. Yeah. So if they will find a way to how to say,
Did NL tank up the turret?
to not get
No, it's
tracked
minions.
by Faker on the mid lane, they will probably like have a decent chances of winning. But it's pretty hard to do. It's up to their coach to think about every possible counter pick that Faker can bring on the purple side games they have.
That's been pretty much impossible for most teams.
If
Then-
you think deep enough, I think you can do that too. So if he is that hard worker and he's that smart, he can lead the CLG to victory probably. But it's gonna be really hard. Like,
There you go.
Faker is
Diamond
just-
Proc snacking on that American pie nice and early. I like
No,
it.
Americans are playing a game, like first time in the
That's true.
time.
That's true.
Before they were just like, I don't know, not doing anything.
That's true.
That is so honest.
He's Russian.
Yeah, can't help it.
Do you want some vodka, Diamond? I have some Russian standard. Yeah, you want some?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
He says no now. but
Alex
off camera.
Itch actually brought it to me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
You want some Alex Itch vodka?
No.
Wait, you also have the one from Min as well.
No, I was
I will
going.
visit him soon probably.
You're making Twitch chat sad. I think everybody in Twitch chat would want some Alex Itch vodka.
Alright. You wanna share a bottle? Or you wanna play a drinking game maybe?
Alright, we can do it. I'm down. So, the early lane swap here was a little bit weird because both top laners started actually in the lane against the dual lane, and we did see MMD leave early to join up with the jungler, and that forced Darshan to teleport into the lane, but he teleported on the creep to get a little bit of a tempo advantage, just to kind of go over what we've seen in this lane swap so far. It's not actually going to matter that much, because the cooldown for TP is already back up. It did lead to a slight level advantage for MMD, which I guess is nice for him, but pretty standard stuff with minor variation so far. So, as we go forward...
Well,
Storm Shield is there for a bit of a bait to Maple, but nobody's following on Afro move. And a lot of aggression from Maple. We've been expecting to see that hit from him in the mid lane. And
So both lanes are bouncing back right now. Flash Wolves, though, you see going for the Herald, and then... So I mean, it's exactly what you would expect in this lane swap. There's not really anything interesting. Not anything interesting at all.
Use that Herald for an advantage, or does CLG get away with an early dragon that then leads to potentially 5 points
advantage? Plus, having flash advantage is huge for the all-in potential.
yeah, one of the things who he's been doing
Okay.
this tournament on Aurelion Sol on the rise on the
How do you guys feel about 2v1 in general? Just like the whole pacing of it.
The what?
Pacing?
Of what?
2v1s.
you mean like as a concept?
I like them, but everybody else hates them. I think it's interesting. So I think the 2v1 provides a lot more opportunity, and especially with... It's always something that's in development, people are figuring out ways to break, and like I said, I really liked what SKT did against the Ward invade yesterday.
The Azir sec plays.
Clutch plays.
Huhi is really bad at Azir.
Good attempt.
Is it? It was an
The thing
attempt.
is, they would not even kill him if he would.
Yo, Maple had flash. He 100% gets out of that, so... They had no crowd control coming in. If we even just talk about this gank...
Don't bastardize words like good and special.
Sorry. You gotta be a positive player.
It was an attempt.
It was an attempt.
It was a nice
Okay,
idea.
so let's say Huhi does hit this, and we see the Rise bounce back this way. He ends up here.
He probably dies, actually. The exhaust from Janna. Graves is right there. It's a 3v1.
There's...
He's pushing him theoretically into threat.
I don't know about that, but...
He'll,
If it was even close to landing, too, he could have flashed straight back during the animation.
The thing is, he also has ultimate, and there is nothing
Yeah,
to stop
actually,
his ultimate.
yeah.
Like the Race.
Yeah, he'll have to burn flash him right away. It'll be close. Because Graves not 6 here. If Graves is 6, I think it's
Yes.
good chance of a kill. It's very close.
But regardless, the fact that Maple doesn't even bother to use Flash here means that he's pretty confident that's not going to hit him. He's a pretty good mid laner.
Yeah. He knows that if it's only 2 people who won't die, probably didn't expect the Janna, but I think he's pretty, like, he's probably solid miss. Like, it was, like,
I think
pretty
Janna
far.
with like Janna shielding the Graves and then like either exhausting or like flashing behind him and ulting. Like, there's definitely kill pressure there.
Yeah. I mean, I think the big thing is just that, like...
Janna doesn't have ult.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But the big thing is just that Azir was just too far. Like, I'm pretty sure Maple knew the range of the EQ, and he knew that Azir couldn't hit him. And it was just like, you stop short in front of me, I'm just not going to use anything. Or he just wasn't paying attention, but probably wasn't that.
And now they're in this big problem too because the Rift Herald is being taken. This is actually one of the very few Rift Herald pushes that we've seen at MSI, kind of weirdly, is that we haven't seen so much of this as of late. Take the Rift Herald and try and apply pressure to the tier 2. Does force the TP from MMD just so he can catch that wave, otherwise he gets kind of screwed. And Huhi does have to go down, and...
We have other people playing drinking games at home, I guess.
No, it was... The username was Huhi Sand Soldier. I'm so drunk right now, I don't even know what I'm doing.
But I mean, to come back to your point, especially about lane swaps, like, I think if every team does the same type of lane swap every game, like European-style lane swap or something, then yes, lane swaps are boring, but increasingly we're seeing adaptations from Korean teams, and like, I think there's definitely room. Like, I just love the idea of, like, I can pick this trash laning matchup and dodge it if I'm super clever, and it adds a lot of strategy. Just like
or I coin flip it right, which is actually...
6 years ago, I was watching, like, Cho'Gath 1v2s from Hotshot.
That's
Like,
true, that's
that was like...
The early eras, yeah.
It was thinking about the game in a different way than everyone else did. So.
I'll say this. I like lane swaps more if there was a way that you could get more information early
How about if the trinkets were different like they were before?
Yeah, exactly. So
Or green wards, obviously.
I think that it makes it more interesting to have 2v1s when you have more innovative ward and invade strategies
now it's
that are
like,
possible.
Now it's like, oh, I don't know if they were swapping or they like were trying to catch the 2v2 or if they were trying to dodge this 50-50 every time.
So the 50-50 thing is what annoys me, is that there's not a lot of strategy. And even people can say, well, why don't you just put the deep wards in? Well, there's a possibility that when you invade that jungle, that the dual lane is already in lane, and you will never be able to see them with those wards. So
Yeah, you can check by yourself, but it's dangerous.
Especially if there's Braum on the enemy team, it's like, oh, I'm dead.
You need to face check a lot of bushes. So, you have to do that.
So it's not really worth the risk in any case. So even with deep wards, it sort of still ends up being a 50-50. Maybe slightly less than a 50-50, but it's just like, I'm not a fan, and okay.
Speaking of face check.
Yeah, let's talk about the setup for this. So, the entire game, by the way, CLG has been playing around this top side. They've been playing around the top side wards, ganking the mid lane, or attempting to with the Azir, coming in from the top side. And this is not a safe place for CLG to go right now. This has been the Flash Wolf side of the map for a little bit. And Aphromoo just face-checking a brush when he has no idea. Like, Rise literally walks into a pink brush, and Azir sees this happen. And they are both seeing...
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
Bye,
you very
guys.
much.
That was the red pink, by the way. But this
No, what I'm saying is
Oh.
there's a red pink in the mid lane, so they know that Rise walked into that brush and they can't see him. So where did Rise go? 2 people are seen here from CLG. Azir is playing, I don't know what he's doing right now, and they just face check a brush, and there were 3 pinks in the enemy jungle. Like, it's absolutely stupid to do that.
I think it's funny because this exact same thing happened to CLG by Royal, where Smithy went into that brush and got caught in pretty much the exact same manner, and it happens again. Like, they just got punished for this. The way they kind of return from 2-1, where they just kind of walk in, kind of, you know, like, haphazardly, whatever, and just get caught and get killed. And yeah, it happened before and happened again. It's probably gonna happen tomorrow if they don't fix this. But anyways, it's fun.
Thanks
See you
for
guys.
joining us.
See you guys. How long are you guys? How long are you guys here for?
69.
How long are you guys here for?
We leave on the 28th.
Oh, okay, so you'll be here for a while.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
So I have
See you.
a giant grill,
Special?
so maybe we can make some
Okay.
burgers and
Thank you.
hang
It's only
out.
like $20 cab ride. We'll stop by.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
Thank you for the beer.
Bye bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye, Noah.
See ya.
Fuck off.
Ow.
Hey, was it killing us?
All right, there will be more special guests though.
Will be.
Bye.
Have we confirmed that now?
Apparently.
I will keep
Oh.
bringing the guests.
No, I think we've got some coming too.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
No,
go find
there
us some
will.
more. Bring back.
I'll work
There will
on
not
it.
be more special guests.
I'll bring maybe like Kong Jin or something.
All right, so there will not be more special guests.
Rip special guests. Rip Lord Loco.
Susie wants
I guess we'll have to do analysis.
We were talking about it earlier.
Analysis.
Yeah, we were talking about the analysis earlier.
Who did Twitch chat want? Loco. Sorry, no Loco. We tried. Reginald. I'll let Monty invite him. They're friends. I saw the photo. You and Reggie are besties now, right?
I think that's how it works.
I saw the photo. Like it's
Photos never lie.
it's a snapshot in time of when you guys were besties. People asking with Thorin. Thorin's left. Snacky. We can bring the emote, I guess. Someone asked for Last Shadow. Sorry. We don't have Last Shadow. It's literally one person. Papa
Literally.
Smithy and Mama Smithy. Mama's not ready for camera yet.
Your mom was here the other day. Or is
No,
she,
no, that
is
was-
she Grandmama
No, she's
Smithy?
Mama Papa Smithy.
Mama.
And my
okay.
father is Papa Smithy.
Okay, gotcha.
Could you please get the nomenclature correct?
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to insult your family.
You had one job.
Insult your family?
Apparently.
But Flash Wolves get away with such a thing. They get away with murder here. Exactly. They don't have top lane teleport. So
Yeah, that is a good point the casters bring up, is there was no top lane teleport, but I actually don't think that they're getting away with murder right here. I think that there are 3 pink wards in the jungle, and that CLG face checks a brush into a Rise that they knew was there. That's what I think. And
I mean-
you're just, okay, so they don't have teleport. What's your point? Afro's still dead. Sword Art has flash.
They didn't need to chase in any further, but I mean, they get an
No.
extra flash bonus, I guess.
But if they could see who he in mid lane that entire time, so as long as he's not moving,
Sure.
they can continue to chase. It doesn't matter.
When you say you're going in to clean off the quadrant of the jungle that the enemy previously had control of for so long in the lane swap, that was dangerous for Afternoon to go face check. But Flash Wolves get away with such a
They
thing.
get away with murder here.
Exactly.
I just disagree with this.
You
a
have to
lot.
rewind to hear it again, don't you?
No, I just looking at the pink wards. I'm like, the vision is so. Look at the vision.
It's like
It's
literally.
really good.
It's a conga, straight conga line there. So
Yeah, and they don't overcommit at all. There are many ways they can escape right now. They have flash up to get back into the river if they have to, and they don't. If they don't see Azir move, this is a 100% safe play. So I think it's fine. They're also just going to kill that Janna before anything happens.
To clean off the quadrant of the jungle that the enemy previously had control of for so long.
I don't know. It feels like Flash Wolves get away with something here.
For Afternoon to go face check.
I think part of it is they get
away
only
with
initiate.
murder, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did they? They only initiate because they see who he like in lane, and they know how fast they can kill the Janna.
I just love that you keep rewinding to him saying he gets away with murder. Well, that was much better. He pulled it off that time. Well, I mean, the actual like Azir sec mechanics were better.
He used both of his summoners for that.
Oh, did he exhaust?
Yes.
Why?
Because he was going to get wrecked if he didn't. Because what's the plan here? Okay, so Graves is here, but Graves is leaving right now, right? And they ping Graves. So Maple just flashes over and starts wrecking Huhi. Huhi has to
all
flash.
I'm saying is...
Just wait. There you go.
But he did actually successfully Azirsec without flash or exhaust. He just flashed
Yeah, but
exhaust.
Sword Art was there, though, to cut off.
I'm just saying that
Alright.
given some of his previous attempts at the play,
Alright.
it's a step in the right direction.
That's the ramifications of that play. If CLG again, they see top lane, they see teleport advantage, so they want to shift the control to the bot side of the map to make sure that MMD has to push out. Any team that is playing somewhat safe options kind of will push out a top lane, but Flash Wolves, not only were they freezing, they go for a 4-man punish, knowing they have TP down, and they get away with it. The payoff is huge, but it could have cost them all the momentum they had into the game.
It's so risky to spread that thin this early in the game when it is so close, but they got such a big reward on both sides of the map that now overall huge advantage. We'll see how they can
It's
work.
so quiet because the boys are gone.
Sure.
You guys need to speak more. You guys need
We
to
will
talk
when
to,
something happens.
Literally nothing is happening.
You need to talk like a saint level.
About how much karma
About
sucks.
Soraka?
Or Soraka sucks, excuse me.
That could be a new emote. Saint Soraka.
Saint Raka.
Saint Raka.
So they continue to prep these turrets without any danger. And CLG is in reactive mode this game compared to game 1.
Just look at the pings. Flash Wolves ping Dragon here. The mid wave is pushed up. Rise is not going to hold that wave. So CLG calm. Trade is objective for a potential mid push if they suddenly.
So, I mean, this is just good control now from
you
Flash
see-
Wolves. And again, the vision control is so good. There's just nothing on that side of the map. There are no deep wards for CLG right now.
Well, I mean,
it's
the
so
worst-
safe.
And when you have this lane swap, like when these turrets are down and top and bot, you do have, as we've talked about, this problem where you have an exhaust mid laner who needs to stay in mid, and Caitlyn's kind of been walking around the map because with the freeze in bot, there isn't many safe places for Caitlyn to farm, and you have teleport Poppy and teleport Rise, both of them really good, and now you do have pseudo Rocks Tigers where Caitlyn has a very hard time finding farm.
And look at the wards, though. I mean, the vision control has been excellent in this early game from the Flash Wolves, too. Again, they got another 3 pink wards in. They even have wards at the base gates and going into lane right now so they can push this turret. I mean, this is...
I don't know how you get base gates wards at 12 minutes, but they did it.
They did it. And they're going to put the pressure down and get a turret right here. So I think this is really, like,
I just love how
solid early game
if
play.
you go back at how it was set up, because a couple of minutes earlier, Ezra was just holding the wave in bottom, and then he's just holding the wave there, you know, doing his thing. Caitlyn has to walk all the way has to recall, walk all the way from base to the Herald, and then they just eventually build up a wave, double pinks, quadra pinks in that area, push up
good.
with the Ezreal. Like it's beautiful to watch. Like it's really clean, and that's why I never really figured out Flash Wolves this tournament, because they oscillated from being a really smart strategic team to just being like the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. And the setup here is just excellent. And they get the Poppy back in the top side. They take a turret advantage from the Herald push that they did earlier on. So it's just really, really good. Good play from them so far.
If they commit multiple members of the bot lane, they could maybe lose.
And CLG just can't set up these sieges.
Should be able to collect this pretty easily. It's just so
Styx has to be pretty scared right now.
extend on this top side. They just have to
Is a problem that MMD doesn't have any armor yet, and he's stuck in the Janna Caitlyn lane, but seems like he's going to be okay.
He's going to be building the Glacial Shroud next, so he'll be okay. Oh!
I think he does get one later in this game.
You can see the advantage in the preparation of wards too. Flash Wolves took the bottom.
Graves
turret,
versus
and
Pink
there's
Wards.
2 times as many wards as what CLG's trying to
So long to clear them out. Takes so long. It's great, though. Pink wards are so good against Graves because he takes like a couple seconds longer than any other jungler to clear them. So you get a couple more seconds to know where the jungler is, which is really, really nice.
It forces your opponent to be reactive and defend.
Watching Graves clear pinks is so sad.
Minor advantages on the side that
I mean, look how much time the Flash Wolves had vision of Graves here.
I mean,
So he's going to walk in, so right here, it's 1301. Walks through an invisible ward, goes there, clears the pink ward, right, before he does the red buff, pops to the green ward inside the red pit, and he's still going.
doo-doo-doo-doo. I mean, to be fair, Graves also takes 0 damage from camps, so he needs some downside.
Yeah, but it also allows that very close snipe there onto the red buff. Xmithy is still in vision. He's been in vision now for 30 seconds. And now he's still in vision. Meanwhile, they have no idea where the Kindred is now. They only know that she's not in the top side. So Xmithy's still just chilling out right now. And he's going to go smite that. And then I think he clears that green ward. And then he goes over here and he clears this ward too. Basically, he's been in vision now for nearly a full minute on that side, and he cleared 2 camps.
Hard luck, Grace.
2 camps. So it's just great control from Flash Wolves, and they can afford to freeze up in that top side, get Poppy some farm while all this is going on, because Poppy's not under any threat.
I mean, CLG again chose to reach for the Echo over the Rise, theoretically to get pressure for Darshan, because obviously pressure for Darshan is like basically their subtitle as a team for the whole year, but he doesn't have it this game. He's just even farm with MMD, and yeah, really different game in game 2.
Yeah. Except they do lose this game, Flash Wolves.
But they win it,
Oh, is this the one they win?
They win this one.
Okay.
They go
the
1-1.
game 3 is the throw one.
Yeah, they go 1-1,
you're right.
then they lose.
Game 3 was the one that I thought they were going to win because they had a huge lead, and then they messed it up.
Well, CLG have literally a kite back comp, so they need to like really get some control on objectives. Oh, and I'll miss the Mystic shot.
He puts the miss in Mystic shot. Is that what he does?
Hey. Afro went for a walk. Wait, Carson flash for that.
Carson should definitely not have flashed for that, but because the goal ultimately is just to get the turret right here, and zoning the John off with the flash doesn't actually help you. Hardly at all, but they still get the turret. And they have all the pressure, and Poppy's been farming this whole time and has started to develop a CS lead. And Stixay has to be here, farming underneath the turret.
I really don't like Caitlyn without double TP.
Yeah.
It goes, a point of strength becomes a point of failure. At least Siva with without double TP can like make picks like we've seen other teams do, but Caitlyn like literally is only as strong as what she has around her.
Remember, you're going back there playing a 1-3-1, and side lane pressure is paramount to victory. And if Darshan is allowed to equalize, at least he can hold MMD and remove some of that momentum, some of that, roll potential, dive potential that MMD earlier had in this matchup.
So this is just going to be back and forth here for a minute. Again, CLG just has no wards in this game. They just have no wards. They have no way really to invade or apply any kind of pressure.
I mean, think about how many pink wards Sword Art and Flash Wolves have stuck this game, because they still have 2 in the inventory, and they've had 4 to 5 down at points of the game.
Yeah.
2 items already complete on an owl. No items complete on Stixay because Caitlyn's item builds
are terrible.
Because he can't even just build Hurricane and sit mid.
No. Watch Maple on the player's cam at
so 17:41 we have to come back to. We can do that now.
No, 7:15. Oh, 17:41.
That's
right, so
now.
30 minutes even. So we'll go back and watch Maple on the Azir sec.
I like how like so many of our stream highlights have been us reacting to player cams. We got time. 7:15. All right. It's time for some sick Azir sec plays. It's on Carso right now.
Has a chuckle.
He has a little chuckle.
Easy for CLG to give away at this stage in the game, but the Baron is not.
Or rather, Stixay, I should say, Huhi walking over, but Stixay just trapping out that entire top.
So let's keep going through this one. They're trying to execute the 1-3-1. The Rise has to go against the Caitlyn. That makes Stixay extremely sad because the all-in potential is...
And his 5 traps are literally super defensive yet. It's in a top lane turret. The exact last place you want to have 5 traps.
You don't appreciate the defensive trap line Caitlyn play?
Also known as losing. Because like the thing people started to understand why Caitlyn came back into the meta is that since turret taking is so important on the 2016 patches, and she's so obnoxious with the 5 traps that she doesn't have a mid-game lull. She actually gets stronger in the mid-game because she just builds Swiftness Boots, BF Sword, and shows up in lanes and pushes. But when you have no map control, she just chills. That was a sick steal.
Yeah, blind too.
So given she's just chilling back and like slowly building up her items and not having anything and being way behind in teamfight items, like just doesn't really do anything.
No, and Dragon here too, going to be easily taken by Flash Wolves. No real way to pick that one up. I guess we have to look at the. Does it? What is
Show it to us? Yeah, that's who
Blue
got the
Nova.
dragon.
Oh.
The League of Legends Master Series won the Dragon Race, Monty. The second Dragon Race.
You know, Papa Smithy, if I owned a League of Legends team.
So this is a very theoretical question. Go on.
If I. What?
That was pretty funny.
That was just hilarious.
That was worth for the hilarious. So go on. If you owned a League of Legends team,
if I owned a League of Legends team and I was at MSI and they were flashing my league logo everywhere instead of my team logo, I would be kind of upset as an owner, because that's like part of why you want to make it to these big tournaments is to grow your brand significantly, and like being like LMS takes Dragon is not very helpful to your brand. Just saying, like I would not like that personally.
I like how you already have the titles for 2 out of your 3 autobiographies. If I was a
LOL owner,
no. If I was a coach and if I was a team owner, now that's 2 phases of your life. What's the next one gonna be?
If I was a caster, I'm sure that's the next one. So sad.
You do love posing for the cameras.
I do. Sorry, this is the one where it's okay, I think.
I'll wait for the book.
So at this point in time, with the double tier, it's still going to be a little bit early for Flash Wolves to truly start pressuring this Baron. Oh well, no, they could probably do it now, actually.
I mean, they have Janna to do sick face checks, so...
Also, they have the Muramana and the Seraph's Embrace completed already, so... Which is also unusual to have both done at 21 minutes.
No, I've been seeing some really fast Seraphs. I've been seeing like 19-minute Seraph Embraces, which seems crazy to me, but...
Well... The kill, though, you would not normally see a 10-stack Rod and a Seraph's Embrace at 21 minutes, but the kill that Rise got really sped this up. And also the lane swap, the early gold from the lane swap. But you almost never see a 10-stack Rod at 21 minutes.
Agreed. 11 minutes is fast. When did it... Can you rewind a little bit?
I'm going to see when it got 10 stacks.
Is it 9 now?
I can't see it.
I think it's 9 now.
Yeah,
okay, so it was about 20,
it
11
just
minutes.
happened at 21 minutes.
Yeah, so it was an 11-minute rod, which is still fast.
It's very fast. So usually the benchmark for Rod, guys, if you don't know, is... You would consider an average Rod timing at 23 minutes, so 13 minutes for the start of the Rod is pretty typical. So later, obviously later it's pretty late Rod.
He got first blood, right? Because he was involved in that Janna kill.
Yes, he did. So more money, and also because of the lane swap and all the global gold happening, really helped out. They already have 4 turrets.
It's a good teleport.
It's a really good teleport.
Teleport negated the Emperor's Divide in a choke. One of the best places you can play with that.
It's a nice play by NL to dodge the slow there from the Time Winder with the Ezreal E, but it wasn't enough.
Motion sickness on our observers right now. Fight is everywhere suddenly out of the blue. Flash will set up the perfect bait, but then they get tired of baiting and they go for a very...
So again, Karsa doing a great job of controlling vision in this game. Every time they're blacking out the enemy jungle. Very assiduously. And the macro play here is so good from Flash Wolves. I mean, look at this. They clear the ward. They know Darshan is going to have to TP back. Or recall back. They get all the wards, and then they threaten behind because Stixxay has no mana, Smithy's at 50%, Aphram is at 50%. It doesn't matter that there's a giant trap line there as long as they have this kind of advantage. So it's like a super easy turret. But they play it really well.
What do you take away from this game to understand the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 for Flash Wolves?
I think the draft was super bad in game number 1. I think it was really terrible. I think this draft is let me choose my words carefully. Better. I'm not going to say significantly better because I don't think that this is an ideal draft either. But I do like this draft much more, and I like what it can do in the laning phase with the Ezreal and the Karma poke. I think that they have better forms of initiation here.
I'm the Karen.
I will drink the floater.
That was a sick TP.
And it was a really good TP, but again, what's winning Flash Wolves this game? The wards.
Yes.
The wards have won them this game. They've been really, really good this entire game so far.
There's nothing Hovey can do.
No, and that's not Hovey's fault.
No.
Like,
I mean, that's the perfect Emperor's Divide. You're stopping an entire choke. There's no units to go around.
But Maple has 3 kills on Rise at 23 minutes, and he's approaching his Void Staff, and that should make everybody super sad.
Well, the fact that he doesn't even need a GA because no one has any damage, especially Stixay.
Yeah, Hurricane first.
Why Hurricane, no IE, like, no worries.
So now you fight a Baron, if you're Flash Wolves.
Something, Rageblade.
You keep talking about that.
One day we'll see it.
You're not going to see it pop out.
I know, it's worse,
shit.
because Rageblade's worse now as an item.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't help.
But at this point in time, CLG with their limited... basically, CLG has no engage. We didn't even touch on that with this composition, but... And they don't have engage.
On the one hand, they do kind of have 3 winning lanes, so you can kind of understand going for this comp.
Absolutely.
But
the
moment
lanes...
you lose vision control, it's like sad times.
Yeah. Which they never should have done. So, like, warding was really bad from CLG in this game.
SKT lost with similar comps to CLG, at least in identity.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like those either. But hugely problematic, really.
This is one of those games where, like, we can pretty much just, like... What is the comeback mechanism when you have no initiation and no map control? It's just you lose.
And you're dealing with double tier scaling, and you lost the early game against double tier. Like, you're basically fucked at this point. Flash Wolves have to make a tremendous error, and considering the amount of information they have from
CLG
Vision...
could do what they did last time against RNG and pull it to, like, one fight very, very late, but that's to some degree as macro failings from Flash Wolves, if you let that happen.
Yeah.
Because Azir can certainly, you know, Azir Caitlyn is very, very powerful in the late game, so is Graves to some degree, but...
Actually go in on one of those plays, but CLG is there to back him up. They actually aren't as strong. So they have to respect what Flash Wolves is bringing to the table. 25 minutes in a 7,000 or 6,000 gold lead as it ticks up.
Yeah, Maple's positioning here on the side lanes has been exquisite, always choosing the right one. Now in the bot lane, because obviously there was a minor teleport cooldown still on MMD. He's pushing it in, and he also has the biggest winning matchup out of all these matchups. So wherever Maple faces,
so much silence. It's been a while since we've had this.
Yeah, it's so quiet.
The ecstasy of silence.
Are you guys going to do all 4 games tonight?
We'll see.
We're powering through.
We may have another guest who wants to come by.
Oh. A guest, huh? Is it somebody that I like?
Yeah. It's a player.
Alrighty.
We like players.
We do. Well...
It's an English-speaking player.
Really?
Well, we don't like those, so...
It's out of our demographic.
We shall see.
Okay.
We'll do this for another hour and a half or so, and then we'll see if we can get through all the games.
Monty's got early call time.
Oh boy.
For Vainglory.
That's right.
Is Iraqi Zoro playing tomorrow?
No.
Oh.
So this is what they should be doing right now, is just continue to play around Vision, which has been their success the entire game. Bait the Baron. CLG has no engage, so if they start the Baron and they try and get into the pit, it's an easy turn for Flash Wolves. Rise gets 1 billion damage down, and that's it. Although IE is done for Stixay now, so that's actually quite helpful if he catches them in the pit. I mean, look at CLG's warding.
I mean, remember, they're buying the wards. They're just getting completely owned by Flash Wolves.
They just haven't had any wards. I don't think they are buying the wards, Papa Smith.
I've seen them with multiple pinks, but they get cleared really fast. And, like, the Baron from these 3 is, like...
ridiculous.
It's really strong. Now, this is the part
That was a
where
good
this-
cue, by the way. He interrupted MMD's ult, so he couldn't get rid of Xmithy. So that was actually super
And
good.
now we're going to have one of those famous split calls. Is Carson going to stay on it? He's going to stay on it. I've seen this before.
MMD flashes
on it.
to tank it. That's actually good. So, weirdly enough, you wouldn't normally see that play, but
Exactly.
I love that play from
It's the
MMD
exact opposite of what happened in that SKT
Yeah.
game where Blank had to like self-ult and like end up just healing up the Baron. That was actually really smart by MMD.
It was good plays all around. It was a good play from Aframu, right?
Yep.
To knock the ult,
Cancel the ult.
to cancel the ult with the Q.
So a lot happens here. So Baron's
So
at
he
3,000.
holds the Q. Look at what Afro does to set this up.
Yeah.
Xmithy is in front, clearing the pink ward. Now Afro knows that this Poppy's going to want to knock him out with the ult, so he preps his Q in time.
Cancels it.
Yeah, really good cancel from Aframu. And then you see right now Sword Art getting chunked out, has to flash out, but because it's only at 2,000, they collapse on Xmithy, kill him,
Yeah.
and then flash in so Karsa doesn't take too much damage. And critically, Karsa does not have to use his ult inside the Baron Pit, which you really don't want to do
Literally
right now.
one more auto and he would have been like 200 HP.
Yep.
So.
So now they're going to be able to... I don't know who he's doing right here, by the way.
Let's see why he tries to kite backwards. What is he? So he goes... Oh, he gets
He
flash.
gets the flash. All right, fair enough. But Darshan also super low, and L coming back in right now.
Oh, she still has flash.
Yeah. So, I mean, they just get wrecked, basically. But that was a really good Baron play from Flash Wolves.
I mean, they were way behind CLG, so like they were always going to get wrecked. But the Baron turn... The turn from Baron then back onto Baron was cleaner than anything SKT's done. Turbo Rise.
Yep.
There, did it? Oh.
The
Owned.
Nets. The Nets.
Oh.
Oh, no!
Well.
Unrelenting aggression here from Flash Wolves. They want to make a statement here in Game 2.
Something Wolfpack.
Well, I mean, they actually don't go for the finish right here. I think maybe they could have with 18 seconds still, but it's not.
Minion
It's
wave
not.
wasn't there.
Yeah, it's also not worth it. It's just not worth the risk. So skip through that. They're going for the safe play right now. Recall, get those items, and then push in. Wow, Ryze did 6,000 damage in a fight. Okay.
That is 1.5 times as much as all of CLG. It's depressing talking to mid laners about the 6.9 patch and then being like, yeah, Ryze and Azir are still the strongest.
We'll see. I think that people just haven't figured it out yet.
Look,
That's
Ryze
usually
is
how.
still the strongest, let's be real.
Okay, fair. But there are going to be other picks, and I think people just haven't figured it out yet.
I feel like Vel'Koz is actually legit good now, but more data required.
Darshan's going for the moral victory. He needs to kill someone this game. He's looking forward to adding another to his name, but not from coming back.
I like how Darshan chases this Ryze.
I mean, you know.
Literally across the entire map.
I mean, you know. The game's over. Maple doesn't even have TP.
Fourth Dragon, Flash Wolves just closing this game out as cleanly as they can. Fourth Dragon, 32 minutes. They're obviously in exceptionally good position. Looking for the final. They're going to TP. They're going to TP onto a minion so that they can take the turret. Where is it? There it goes.
Flash Wolves are looking to put a win on the board. MMD saved by Lamb's despite as Carson throws it down. The rest of the fight up to CLG's Darshan in the front. Xmithy trying to throw.
I mean, there's just nothing you can do here.
It was actually really nice.
It was a good. It was good. And also, NL is tanking turret damage. By nothing, I mean you could throw this fight, I guess, by being ridiculous.
Hey, RNG did it against CLG before.
Alright, that's gonna be it. Too many minions.
Boom.
Why was Aframiz standing next to the turret?
He got minion blocked at the end.
Okay.
That was funny.
35 minutes in, just 4 minutes later from back up my heartstring.
So Flash Rolls. Great vision control that game, significantly better. CLG not really getting a lot of wards down or protecting their vision very well. Face checking things which caused them to die and then lose all their wards, and they could never get deep wards.
I mean,
as a result.
the problem started when CLG tried to swap back to the side where they had no pressure. They still didn't have the map pressure to like clear the wards. Got picked there, and then from there, to use a word that Grepo used, it was pretty exquisite how well like Flash was played with that advantage. The pink wards they had, they slow pushed the wave, got the inner turret, like it all followed. It was all smart, and it's why, at least I can't speak for you, but why I remember these Flash Wars games, not the ones where they really epically fail, and I'm like, this team seems legit good, but they only seem to show up in fits and spurts, and if the early game goes poorly, they seem to not have a way to like take a stranglehold back on games like this. Yeah,
absolutely true. I mean, this game was super good. I thought Flash Wolves was going to win today.
We both said 3-1 Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and this is the team that I expected to show up. Not the like weird draft in game one, and I liked this draft better, and I thought that they would be playing a little bit cleaner.
Is it as simple? It sounds like a dismissive thing to say or something, but are they just too used to playing from ahead because LMS is so top heavy as a region?
It's possible, yeah.
Because this team, when they're ahead early, look pretty great. Like, sure, I mean, we've seen teams like you could say the same thing about G2. They have a stronger region they're against, but when they're ahead, they're reckless, right? They make like overdives, trick like dives, trying to solo someone, flashing into the inner turret. But this team, when they're ahead, plays macro smart. So maybe it's something like the shot calling from Sorda proactively is very good, but reactively struggles.
Yeah, quite possibly. Meanwhile, we know CLG's shot calling is actually quite good while they're behind. They're able to get back into games that many teams would not be able to get into.
Do we have any donations and stuff to...